Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Get connected, Fitchburg. We're launching Fitchburg Connect, the city's new monthly e-newsletter that keeps you informed about all the events, services, and updates that matter to you. Get it in your inbox once a month. Sign up today to get Fitchburg Connect.
All right, it's 6 o'clock, and I think we're going to get started here. So before we get into it, I just wanted to say thanks for coming to everyone. Obviously, construction isn't going to be the most pleasant thing to deal with throughout the course, but it's a very important project for the city. So we're looking forward to getting this started, and by the end of it, I think you'll all have new roads and new water main and all that good stuff that comes with it. So with that, we'll go ahead and just kind of start here. I'm Ben Schulte, so I'm the environmental engineer for the city of Fitchburg. We've got some other staff joining us here today.
I'm Tracy Foss. I'm the Assistant Director of Public Works with the City of Fitchburg.
I'm Tim Volker, Director of Public Works, City Engineer.
And I'm Chelsea Wilson, the Utility Engineer.
All right, thank you. So what we're going to go over here today, we're going to just do a quick kind of overview of why we're even doing this project to begin with, so a little background. We'll get into the project scope. We're going to talk about resident impact, so basically all the different things you can expect over the course of the project. We'll talk a little bit about the schedule. Then we'll open it up to just kind of general questions, questions that may impact everyone. And then once we get through with that, we'll welcome everyone up to come up to the tables here. We've got a few different plan sets printed out, and we can kind of flip through them, find your house, answer any more kind of individual specific questions you may have. All right, so this project kind of has two portions to it. There's some stormwater improvements, so that's really just kind of on Crescent Road. I don't if anyone lives on Crescent Road. Does anyone? Show of hands, any Crescent Road residents? All right. So the storm improvements may not be the biggest concern for you all, but maybe you've noticed that there has been some recurring flooding issues on Crescent Road. Pretty severe, even getting into private property. So that's kind of the main portion of the storm work, is to alleviate the flooding on Crescent Road. The water improvements are a little bit more expansive as far as location. So that's Crescent Road, Sentinel Pass. You get into the Tower Hill neighborhood, you've got Barbara, Lyman Lane, Floran, Tower Hill. And we'll get into that more, but essentially the water main in these areas it's just all kind of nearing their end of life, right? So unfortunately they don't last forever. So every 50, 100 years or so, they do have to get replaced. So that's what we're looking at doing here. Okay, so jumping into the scope again. With the stormwater improvements specifically, this is going to be at the Red Arrow Trail Crescent Road intersection. They're essentially just going to be removing some existing inlets, existing storm sewer, and then putting in bigger inlets and bigger storm sewer. It's really pretty much as simple as that. So increasing the capacity and how much water the infrastructure can take. And then here's just a little map. I don't know if you can everyone see that red circle on there? So that's basically the project area for the storm sewer portion. So it's pretty much largely contained in that red arrow Crescent Road intersection. And then here's just kind of a snip of one of the plan sheets. We can talk about this a little bit more in detail if people are interested, but this is basically just kind of showing the new pipes that are going in. So again, larger pipes, larger inlets, can handle more water. So now we'll move on to the water main and water service replacements in the Belmar neighborhood. Do we have any Belmar neighborhood residents? Sentinel Pass? Or are we all Tower Hill here? All Tower Hill, all right. Well, we'll still go through the Belmar stuff. It is being recorded, so we want everyone to be able to get a chance to see all this. So essentially for the Belmar neighborhood, it's going to be replacing existing water main and then water services. So all the larger diameter water in the street and then the smaller diameter pipes that come from the main to feed your house. That's going to be on Crescent Road, so from Equity Lane to Red Arrow Trail, and then Sentinel Pass from Red Arrow Trail to Apache Drive. We'll talk a little bit about schedule. We can talk about that more, and just I'll put this out there. Everything is weather dependent, so we're kind of in the blue sky industry. If it's raining, it's going to be really difficult to get work done. So if we get a year where there's just rainfall after rainfall, some of these things are going to drag out, and it's unfortunate, but just kind of the nature of construction. So what we do know is that they're going to be looking to start on May 26th in the Belmar neighborhood. So that's basically the day after Memorial Day. And they're going to be looking to have all of the water main completed by early July. So again, that's, if everything goes pretty well, they should be in and out in, about a month and a week, couple of weeks, if everything goes kind of as planned and we get some good weather. That's when the water main will be complete. The paving will happen hopefully very, very soon after, and we'll talk a little bit more about the paving too as well. And again, this is just, if you can see the red boxes, they're a little bit harder to see than I thought, but those are basically just highlighting the project work areas, again, so that section of Crescent Road and Sentinel Pass. And then here's just, again, it might be a little bit tough to see on the screens here, but this is basically just kind of like a schematic view of the plans. You'll be able to see them better if you want to come up later, but it's just showing the blue line, that's the water main and water services. So again, it's just kind of showing that the water main is being replaced and all the services are being replaced. You can see there's like the darker areas, that'll be restoration. So of course they're gonna have to dig up in the terrace area between the sidewalk and curb and gutter to install the service. So they'll have to restore grass there. Some folks might have a water service that goes under their driveway. If that's the case, then part of the driveway has to get removed and replaced. And we'll talk more about that too in resident impacts. And I'll just kind of flip through these, but I think does everyone kind of get the idea of what the water main portion is? Basically, just kind of putting in the new one and new services. So. We can move on to the Tower Hill now. Same deal as what we just talked about at Crescent Road and Sentinel Pass, where it's the exact same project, putting in new water main, new water services. This is going to be Barber Drive from Richardson Street to Lyman Lane. Lyman Lane from Barber Drive to Sherrill Drive. Floran Drive from Barber Drive to Sherrill Drive, and then Tower Hill Drive from Lacey Road to Barbara Drive. Tower Hill with one L. So as far as the schedule here, basically once they wrap up the work on Sentinel and Crescent and in that kind of area of Fitchburg, they'll start to come down into the Tower Hill neighborhood shortly after. So, you know, we're looking at a late June start date for this area right now. It could start earlier if different crews become available. And then the water main completion date is September 1st. So that's the contract completion date for the water main install. So unless there's some really unforeseen or uncontrollable circumstances, that's when the water main will have to be installed by. And again, here's just the kind of red boxes around the streets that are getting the new water main and water services. So as I said before, Barbara, Floran, Lyman, and Tower Hill here.
On this map, you'll see numbers, and right now the contractor's intention is to install it based on those numbers. So where you see 3, that's where they plan to start first in the Tower Hill neighborhood, then go to 4, 5, then 6.
Right, and I think that, well, it is in the same order. So yeah, what they're thinking now is starting on Barbara, then Lyman, then Floran, and then Tower Hill. That is subject to change to some degree, but that's the plan as it is right now.
You know which way on Barbara, or is it all at once?
No, based on the plans, because he said he was going to go through the plans from beginning to end, it's the west end, but that too could change. But it most likely will be the west end because we're going to go east on Barbara, and then it ties in, it just keeps going down Lyman. So that's what I would anticipate.
You start by near Richardson.
Yes. Yep. And then just one thing to point out is we aren't going all the way to Richardson. We're starting about 200-300 feet east of Richardson Street, where the older main was installed. There's exactly. There's a hydrant there by a wall. Mm-hmm. Right where.
I'm the first house on Barbara.
Well.
On that side.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tracy. And again, just kind of like what I showed for the other area, here's just the schematic where, you know, it shows all the water main, some of the disturbance in the terrace as far as the area that needs to be restored with grass or a driveway replaced, or a driveway apron replaced, I should say. Yeah, and we'll be here for a little while. Happy to answer any specific questions once we get a chance to kind of look at the plans. But I think this is going to be kind of the important, or some of the messages that I hope everyone will take home, but just kind of the idea of what to expect during construction and what impacts you will see. So of course, roads are going to be closed to through traffic. You will be able to, you know, get down your road. It will be open to people that live on that street. You will have driveway access generally throughout the project. Like I said, there are some homes that do have their water service under their driveway apron. When that is the case, the driveway apron will have to be removed and replaced. It will be replaced to match existing. So same geometry, same material, whether it's concrete or asphalt, it'll be matched in kind. And if that is you, the contractor is required to provide a 48-hour notice prior to any kind of driveway restrictions. And at the end of the day, you know, again, unless it's concrete that needs to cure or something before it can be driven on, you'll have access at the end of each working day. Water shutoffs, that's going to be another big one for everyone here. I'll let Tracy maybe talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. So we anticipate for residents that are adjacent to the water main that's being installed, approximately 3 shutoffs. Sometimes it can be more, but typically it's 3. They'll need one right when they start to connect the new main to the old main. And then once they install it to the other side of the project, they'll need to connect it to the main on the other side. So they'll need to shut the water off a second time to connect it. And then they also need to shut it off to install each one of your services. So we would anticipate three shutoffs unless something blows apart or something goes wrong. We would anticipate 3 shutoffs for each of the affected properties. For that, we do provide door hangers. So we'll put door hangers on your. So watch your doors. They'll be orange. And the contractor is required to provide 48 hours notice before the shutoffs unless there's an emergency. I would anticipate, typically we make it longer than we anticipate it's going to be so that people are prepared for it. We try to keep it after 8 o'clock so that people can take their showers and go to work. 8 to 5 is quite standard. For your service, though, it may be less, but that's what I would anticipate for each one is 8 to 5.
Okay, and I'm just going to repeat your question just so it got picked up in the recording, but the question was, how long would you anticipate these shutoffs occurring for when they do happen? All right.
Quick question. Will the materials that we're looking at, are they available on the website somewhere, or will they be available?
Yeah, so the question was, will basically this presentation and the materials that we're going through be available on the website? Yes, they will. We'll put this presentation up there's a project page. We'll have a link and QR code at the end of this presentation. And that's where all of this and then also any kind of updates will be posted to that website as well. So trash collection, recycling collection, that's another big thing. You should just be able to continue to place your trash and recycling bins as you normally do. Pelletier is aware of this project, and the contractor has a lot of experience working on these kind of reconstruction projects where they'll move your garbage cart or recycling cart to where it needs to be to get collected. So if there are any kind of issues with garbage collection, please let me know. That's a great question. The question was about mail delivery. Mail delivery should still occur as normal. Again, if you do have any issues and you're not able to get an answer from the Postal Service, you can let us know. But they'll also be made aware of this project and that there will be construction going on here.
If they need to move your mailbox to accommodate construction, they'll be putting in temporary mailboxes. Every once in a while, there's a service maybe close to a mailbox where we'll have to put something temporary in, and then they'll restore it. Once they're done with the work, they'll put your mailbox back in.
It did seem that last year during Richardson Street, mail delivery person was unhappy about how it was handled.
Yeah, I'll have to ask about that. The question was just some issues with mail delivery on Richardson Street during last year's project. So I'll follow up on that and see if there's anything we could do to kind of help them out. All right. So as I mentioned, grassed terrace area, so the area between the sidewalk, if you have sidewalk and the curb. It will be disturbed with water service replacement. So if you do know that you have maybe some landscaping or something of the sort within 15 feet or so of your water valve, your curb stop, it would be ideal if you are able to get that kind of moved out of the way beforehand. If there's any kind of plantings left in there, they will get kind of ripped up during the process. So if there's anything you want to save, now would be the time.
that 15 feet in all directions?
Yeah, so the question was,
Toward the house as well as this way?
yeah, so the question was it 15 feet, basically like a radius of 15 feet in all directions? And yes, just to be absolutely safe, 15 will give you kind of a bigger area. Yes.
Is the blue stripe on the curb where the,
Yeah, so the question was the blue stripe, so a blue paint mark on the curb, is that where the water service is? And yes, that is where your water service will be. So that's a great question. And yeah, if you do have any questions, about that, they're also shown on the plans here, so we can take a look too. As far as working hours, it's generally going to be 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's going to be Monday through Friday. The contractor can work till 7, so that's what the city's noise ordinance allows. They haven't indicated that they would be doing that, but they may if they get behind with weather. And same goes with Saturdays. So they haven't indicated that they are working Saturdays, but if things get behind a little bit, Saturday work may occur. There won't be any work on city holidays, so that's June 19th, July 4th, and actually I think July 4th is a Saturday, so it would be July 3rd is the federal holiday, and then Labor Day, September 7th. Other things, just the general kind of construction. It's going to be noisy. It might be dusty. We did talk to them about, if it's overly dusting, they can spray a little water down to kind of help that. And then just kind of that construction vibration with their big machines. So unfortunately, there's no way around that. It is going to be a little loud, dusty, and not quite as peaceful as maybe you're useful. All right, so we'll get a little bit more detailed into the schedule here. Again, anticipated start date is May 26th, so that's the Tuesday after Memorial Day. Just to reiterate, they will be working in the Belmar neighborhood first, so that's your Crescent Road and Sentinel Pass. They're going to be looking to get the water main work done first, and then they'll follow up with the storm sewer work in this neighborhood. Utility work is anticipated to be complete by early July. Again, I've said it a million times, but weather pending and if everything goes okay. And then the streets will actually be repaved as part of a separate contract. So the city has an annual street resurfacing contract, and that'll be a different contractor that will come in and repave the streets following the utility work. So in the Tower Hill neighborhood, they're going to be beginning on, again, Barber Drive. They'll go down to Lyman, Floran, and Tower Hill. Looking to start that late June, early July. We'll update you if we have exact dates or when we have exact dates, so you can kind of get ready for it. And then that work is anticipated to be complete by early September, so September 1, again, weather pending. All work, including the street resurfacing, is required to be complete by October 31st, per the terms of the contract with the paving contractor. Anything else to add on schedule? No? Okay. And then, as I mentioned earlier, project updates as well as this presentation. Plans are up there now, but there's this link to the project webpage and a QR code. This would be kind of the first place I would look if I was wondering about what's going on with the project or where things are at. So if you're able to kind of take a picture of this or get your phone out with the QR code, I'll leave this up maybe for a little while. I got one more slide. I'll go back and then I'll leave this up so folks can get a chance to do that. Oh, perfect. And then if you do have any questions, I've just got some contact information. So again, I'm Ben, you get Chelsea. We have business cards up here, so that's got our phone and email. So if there are any kind of issues, concerns, maybe something that you think of later after this meeting that you want to ask about, definitely don't hesitate to give us a call or email. We'll be very happy to talk about the project with you all. So, and then Zach Laundry, I don't know that we got business cards for him. We might be able to run and bring some down, but he's going to be the city staff contact for the repaving portion of the project. That's going to occur a little bit later. All right, so I'll leave this up, and then just to talk a little bit more about the project notices. Again, I think we went over the water shutoffs and driveway access pretty well. So again, with the really bright orange, blaze orange door hangers that will be put up on your door just to alert you about the water shutoffs. Other notifications will be on this project website. Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Maybe I'll just go through the notifications that you should expect to see as we work through the water main project. Once we have the start date for each road, approximately a week before then, we'll be putting a door notice out to the people that will be affected. It will have, the start date. It'll have a reminder about removing things around your curb stops. It'll have, information about mail pickup and trash pickup. And just general project information. During the project, we talked about how we have those approximate 3 notices for the water shutoffs, again, orange on your doors. And then at the end of the project, when we're wrapping up the water main, you'll get another notice letting you know that we're done with the water main, and that and then information, next steps for paving, and then contact information for paving too. Because once the water main work is done, the contact will be the person that's overseeing the contract for paving, which is Zach Laundry.
Perfect. Thank you, Tracy. So I'll leave this up, but before we get into looking at the plan sets here, I just wanted to see if there were any kind of maybe general questions that maybe other people would be interested in as well. I think he's going to bring the microphone to you.
Okay, so for the lines going towards the houses, when you take out the street end of it, is there going to be any other inspection of the lines going towards the houses to know if there's any issues that need to be addressed where they're connected, like tree roots, things like that? If your line is completely bedded with roots, then are you making the homeowners aware of any possible issues on their line?
That is a great question that I'm going to see if Tracy can answer for you.
Most of what we're going to see is what we're replacing. There's the end of the trench where we're putting in the fitting to connect to the existing service. If we were to see something that was of alarm to us, we would let you know that.
Okay, great. Thanks. That's a great question. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Yes.
A very random question, but Barber Drive has never had storm sewer. Was that considered at all to put in storm sewer on Barber Drive?
It was not as part of this project, no.
Okay. And then the areas we've seen on Barber Drive already, and it's on the west side yet of Richardson Street, looks like some of that curb is going to be taken out and replaced. Is that?
Is it marked out in the field with
Yes.
pink? Do you see pink
Yes, right.
Yep.
And it just seems like there's quite a bit that, I was
Typically,
surprised how much there's going to be removed.
I haven't seen it, but that's typically how they mark curb and gutter removals, is with pink X's on the curb, where you'll see a line with
Right.
an arrow that indicates what's going to be removed.
Okay. So who decides that, or how is that determined? What needs to be done?
Public Works staff will walk all the streets prior to paving and then mark the areas that are in need of repair. If they settled, if they're cracked, if there's huge chunks missing out of them. Sometimes there's areas where we have ponding water, and removal of the curb and adjustment helps with that. And you know, there's some areas that may be marked for that purpose as well.
I'm a little surprised. It seemed like in some of the places where they have it marked to replace the curb and gutter, there's a little hairline crack. It doesn't seem like it's a big crack or a major problem, but just a little hairline crack. So just a little surprised that they'd be going to all the work to replace a 10-foot section of curb and gutter for this little hairline crack. So, but my question is, and I mentioned this to Chelsea, a number of years ago, when the city was replacing the water meters, they tried to shut off the valve that is on the lateral coming into the house. They tried to shut that off and were unsuccessful. So they actually used nitrogen to wrap around the copper pipe right above the water meter in the basement to freeze the water so they could take the old water meter out and install the new water meter. So I'm wondering, if that will be a problem. I guess once you have exposed the shutoff valve, you've dug and you've exposed it, will that somehow free things up so that you'll be able to close the water valve, or if that may be an ongoing problem to where that water valve is just to the point to where it will not close at all? So what kind of a problem might that cause?
I just want to confirm, are you referring to the valve in the green space, in the terrace area? Okay. So those will all be, it's called a curb stop is what they're called, and we'll be replacing all of those curb stops as part of the project and putting in new curb stops.
So you won't have to close the existing one, the old existing one that is there now, you won't have to close it?
No, we'll be removing it.
Great.
Yep.
All right. Yes.
Is there going to be a special assessment against the homeowners then for this project, or is it already in the city budget?
Well, I'm very pleased to be able to say that there will not be a special assessment as part of this project.
Replacements are always handled through the rates versus assessments for water main.
Yep. Yeah, and the storm sewer work is being completed using stormwater utility fees. There's also some grant funding, so there won't be any assessments to homeowners. Great question. I know a lot of people probably were wondering that too. All right. Well, I think with that, we'll kind of spread some of these plan sets up on the tables here and welcome everyone to come up. We can find your house and just kind of go into it maybe a little bit more detail than we were able to here. And yep, before we do that, I am going to put up my QR code one more time. All right, I guess I'll just leave it up here for now. And yeah, with that, please feel free to come on up.